Yeah? You guys feel like here's some jokes and some anecdotes and some stories and all that sort of shit by a professional live comedian here tonight? Yeah? I've seen this guy on stage before. I've hosted him. And, I'd be laughing the whole time, man. This guy's a hard-working comedian from Calgary. And I am fucking stoked to see him here tonight in Edmonton. So I hope you guys are fucking excited for this, because I am, man. I can't wait for this shit to happen here. So I need you guys to throw your hands up, raise your drinks. Come on, everybody, make some noise for the comedic stylings of Lucas Steeves. All right, Rendezvous Pub, how's everybody doing tonight? All right, awesome, man. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so excited to be here, man. I love a really good business name, you know? It's important. It's the most important part of a business name. My buddy of mine has a Christmas tree lot out in Montreal. Does anybody speak French? First of all, a few of you will understand the joke. The rest of you just laugh because it's fucking funny, okay? But he's got this Christmas tree lot, but it's not like a normal Christmas tree lot where you show up and they put the tree on top of your car for you and you go home. No, in this one you go out and he leaves the trees in the field. And you go out and you look at the tree in the field. You see the tree that you want. Then you come back to the office, he gives you a saw and you go cut it down. It's a brilliant business model. He has people paying him to do the labor he would normally underpay a Mexican guy for. But the real brilliance is in the name, man. You know what he calls the place? Come see, come saw. Man, but the right business name is important, man. The right business name will make or break a business. I was driving along in Calgary the other day. I came across an aquarium supply shop called Tanks a Lot. I don't even own a fish I had to stop in, man. It was crazy. There's another place, it's a hair salon. It's called Curl Up and Die. Yeah, the right name will make or break a business, but the wrong name, destroy it, man. Ask William Shatner. William Shatner tried to start a lingerie company, but apparently Shatner panties was not very sexy. And all this thinking about business names makes me think I want to start a business of my own. And I've been racking my brain trying to think of what I'm going to start, and I decided I'm going to start a coffee shop, and I'm going to do it in a church. Okay, there's a lot of reasons to have a business in a church. First of all, you don't pay any taxes. But if you have a coffee shop, it's on every Sunday you have a whole bunch of hungover parishioners trying not to fall asleep during Mass. But then there's also the naming opportunities. You know what I'm going to call the place? Jesus Christ, that's good coffee. Or maybe Holy Grounds, Hebrews. Man, but then I was thinking about this whole Jesus Christ, that's good coffee. I thought I could start a whole group of companies, the Jesus brand group of companies. And we're going to have all kinds of products. We're going to sell cigarettes and joints. Holy smokes. We're going to sell toilet paper, man. Holy shit. And then something a little controversial in the Jesus community, but we're going to sell them anyway. We're going to sell Jesus brand condoms. Holy fuck. Oh, man. So yesterday I was at my company Christmas party, and I drew the short straw because I've been written up too many times. And so I had to play Santa Claus. They got an actual, I'm not even kidding, 100% true. They got a Santa suit. I dressed up. We had an open house. We were grilling up hot dogs, serving it, and I was out front of the house trying to get people to come in and buy stuff from us. But while I was Santa, these two kids came walking down the sidewalk, dead serious. One was maybe 7, the other was about 9. They were young kids, and the younger of the two kids was dressed to the nines. He had like a suit and a bow tie and a fedora. I was trying to figure out where the fuck these kids were going without a parent, right? So the kids come up, they wanted to meet Santa, and I put my hand out to give them a high five. The one kid gives me a high five. The younger of the two kids, I'm not even fucking kidding you guys, he pulls out his wallet, he pulls out 55 cents, 2 quarters and a nickel, and he slaps it into my hand as he gives me a high five. He looks at me and winks, he says, "Hook me up, Santa." This kid's like 7 fucking years old, and he's already figured out he's got to bribe the big man to get himself a good present. It's genius. But what I really want to know is where the hell these kids were going, man, because they come down the street like they're on a mission. No parent in sight. They bribe Santa Claus and then carry on as if they're going somewhere somewhere important. Anyway, that wasn't a joke. That was a real thing that happened to me yesterday. I just wanted to tell you about this. And I don't have any other Christmas-themed jokes, so bribing Santa Claus seemed appropriate. Anyway, anybody been to the grocery store lately? Yeah, I have some serious fucking concerns about the grocery store, all right? Number one, these fucking bags. Have you noticed ever since they banned single-use plastic bags, shit has gone to hell? Man, but think about it, because they banned single-use plastics and then they got rid of plastic grocery bags, and it's a serious hassle for people like me who are very forgetful and buy a new reusable bag every time we go to the grocery store and then forget it at home. But if you think about it, grocery bags were never really single-use, were they? No, you didn't come home from the grocery store, put your food away, and then take that plastic bag and throw it in the garbage. You take that plastic bag, crumple it up, and shove it inside another plastic bag full of bags underneath the kitchen sink. And then next time you needed a bag for the kitchen garbage, or you needed to clean up some dog shit or something like that, you'd grab one of those plastic bags, right? They were double-use plastic bags. So why did they get rid of them when they banned single-use plastic? It makes no sense to me. But anyway, nowadays, if you need a bag for the kitchen garbage, what do you have to do, right? You have to go to the store, you have to buy a box of brand new plastic bags, still on the roll, freshly sealed, so tightly you can barely even get the motherfuckers open. And then you bring that box home, brand new, never been touched, never been seen by human eyes. You take that plastic bag and you throw it immediately in the garbage. That's a single-use plastic bag. So somehow, by banning single-use plastic bags, they got more single-use plastic bags into production. It's ridiculous. But it gets even worse. Man, it gets even worse. Because nowadays, you go to the grocery store, they sell you that flimsy little fabric bag for like 35 cents, right? And you buy one every time thinking you're doing the right thing for the environment. But the other day, well, $2, whatever they sell them for, but the other day, I was at home and I was making nachos. It's related. Come along with me, okay? I was making nachos and I was looking at them in the oven and I was watching them almost burn. Now, I don't own an oven mitt. Normally, I would use a washcloth or a tea towel, but this particular day was laundry day, and all my washcloths and tea towels were in the laundry, and my nachos were about to burn, and I had a serious problem on my hands. Until I saw my flimsy little 35-cent Safeway grocery bag on the counter. I thought, this is genius. I grabbed the grocery bag, I wrapped my hand in it, and I grabbed those nachos out of the oven. And that bag melted faster than a face full of makeup on a hot summer day, man. The fabric bags they're selling us to replace the plastic bags are made out of plastic. So by banning single-use plastic, they got more single-use plastic bags into production, and they're selling us plastic bags to replace the plastic bags they used to give away for free. It's fucking ridiculous, man. Just like the rest of the environmental movement. I was at Starbucks the other day, and I know what you're thinking. I don't look like the sort of guy who goes to Starbucks. But sometimes I want to spend $17 on a cup full of ice, so sue me. But I'm in Starbucks the other day, and the kid at the counter says to me, I got to warn you, sir, we have the paper straws. You know these paper straws, right? These things that dissolve halfway through your drink. You end up getting, whoa! Wow, big hand for those guys, everybody, eh? Anyway, what was I talking about? Starbucks, right? I'm at Starbucks, and they just warned me that they had the single-use, the paper straws, right? And I thought, thank God you warned me. I would have freaked the fuck out if I had got a paper straw without expecting it. Thank you. And So anyway, she prepares the drink. She hands it to me, as promised, with the paper straw in a plastic cup. Right? Doesn't this sum up the entire environmental movement in one thing? By getting rid of the plastic straw, they somehow got more plastic into the equation. I thought, once again, you hipsters have missed the point. Man. While I was at Starbucks, I noticed they had a sign on the wall that said, "Do you have a passion for coffee?" I thought that's a very millennial way to say, "Do you have a caffeine addiction?" But anyway, you can tell a lot about a business by their attitude towards plastic, can't you? Right? You really can. Has anybody ever been to like the health food store where they got the old school paper? These people have been selling fabric bags for 15 years. Back in the day, they were selling them for like $27.50. These are authentic, organic, free-range, fair trade cotton bags sewed by some hippie on Vancouver Island, right? You go into a place like that, you even mention the word plastic, they call the fucking police. Right? This is a company that genuinely cares about the environment, man. They want to do the right thing. And then you have the places like Safeway and Sobeys and Walmart, Starbucks, where they tell you they care about the environment, but they're just tricking you into buying more plastic. They want you to think they care about the environment, but they don't give a shit about the environment. They just want you to keep spending your money. And then there's 7-Eleven. Has anybody been to 7-Eleven lately? Put your hand up. This is a company that does not give a fuck about the environment. And they do not care if you think they give a fuck about the environment, right? I was in 7-Eleven the other day looking around. I noticed every single product in the place is wrapped in at least one, sometimes two layers of plastic. It's insane. I noticed 7-Eleven recently started selling fruit, right? And I was walking to the back towards the Slurpee machine. When I saw the fruit, I thought, isn't that interesting? They're trying to sell something for people healthier than me. And they had a banana on a styrofoam tray wrapped in saran wrap. I thought, damn, if only bananas came with some sort of organic, compostable, removable, naturally occurring covering that would keep them fresh. And then I get back to the Slurpee machine. You can still buy the old school, authentic, turtle-killing straws wrapped in paper. You can kill a turtle and a tree in one fucking transaction, man. And then you get to the till, they don't even ask if you need a bag. They pull out a contraband, black market, genuine plastic bag, and they give it to you absolutely free. This is a company that does not give a fuck about the environment at all. Anyway, does anybody like pistachios? Hell yeah! Yeah, right, they're delicious. At least I thought they were delicious. The other day, I'm at the grocery store. I'm walking through the produce department when I came across pistachios. And my first thought was, what the fuck is pistachios doing with all the fruit and vegetables? They belong with the nuts, pretentious motherfuckers. But anyway, I was feeling flush with cash. I had done a show the night before. I thought I deserved some pistachios. So I grabbed a bag of pistachios. I threw it in my cart, and I headed out of the grocery store. I paid for them first. Then I put them inside my plastic fabric bag, and I took them home. I forgot about them for a couple of days. Then a couple days later, I'm sitting on the couch writing some jokes, and I remembered I had bought these pistachios. You know that moment when you're really, really high and you remember a snack you bought? And it's like the angels are singing, you're just like, oh! I had one of those moments. I thought, I want some fucking pistachios. But pistachios are not the sort of snack you just eat on a whim, are they? No, it takes some planning. It takes some equipment. You need a bowl for the nuts. You need a bowl for the shells. You need a hammer, a chisel, some safety glasses, a first aid kit in case you cut yourself on the shells. It takes some doing. So I gathered up all my gear, and I headed back to the living room, and I pulled out the first pistachio. But it was not just any pistachio. This was one of those pain-in-the-ass pistachios that's not quite cracked open yet. You know the ones I'm talking about? Right. I could have thrown that thing back in the bowl, made it future Lucas's problem, but I'm a man who finishes what I start. I was going to get into that nut one way or other. So I pulled out my chisel and I set to work. 17 minutes later, when I finally got the shell off, I felt victorious, and I ate that nut and immediately spit it out because something was terribly wrong. It was the worst pistachio I've ever had in my entire life. Well, that's what I asked too. I said, what the fuck is wrong with these things, right? Maybe they've gone rancid. Maybe they're rotten, past their best before date. I go to the kitchen. I pull out the bag of pistachios. I look on the back of it. No, well within its expiry. So I turn it around to the front. I'm thinking, like, they're looking inside. No, I've not seen any mold. They smell okay. Everything says these pistachios should be fine. And then I notice something horrifying, my friends. On the front of that bag of pistachios, I noticed that I had grabbed the unsalted pistachios. It turns out I don't fucking like pistachios. I like salt. In the least convenient way I can possibly get it. Man, I'll leave you with one more. When I was at the grocery store, when I found the pistachios, I was walking down the juice aisle. Because I'm a guy who likes some juice, okay? So sue me. But as I was walking down the juice aisle, I was thinking back to my childhood when you could only get like apple juice, orange juice, and on a special occasion you might find cranberry juice. But that was it. That was all we had growing up. Some of you are old enough to remember those days. But nowadays, man, you got a juice aisle. It's an entire aisle long. You got every kind of juice. You got the apple, the orange, the cranberry, the basics. You got grapefruit, kiwi, strawberry, raspberry, peach, nectarine. You got the blends. You got the 5 Alive. You got juice. You got almond juice. Well, they call it almond milk, but that's just because nobody can write nut juice on a bottle of white liquid with a straight face. But then I got to the end of the aisle and I saw something that seriously concerned me, man. It was watermelon beverage. I said, what the fuck is a beverage and why is it in my juice aisle? I was very concerned and I'm a curious guy, so I pulled out my phone. I did a little bit of research. It turns out if you're going to call something juice, it has to contain some of the thing it says it's juice of. But if you're going to call it a beverage, it's like the Wild West. It doesn't matter what the fuck's in there. But then I started thinking, you mean to tell me you can get enough liquid out of an almond to make legit juice, but you can't get enough water out of a watermelon to make watermelon juice? This is bullshit. It's half the fucking name. It's the juiciest fruit in the produce section, and you can't make legit watermelon juice, man. It's crazy. Okay, I lied. I'm not going to stop there. I'm having fun now. I take things too literally sometimes. It's a serious problem for me, man. Last winter, somebody texted me and says, dude, we should go ice fishing. I said, no, thanks. I have ice in the freezer. Man, last spring, a friend invited me out to a fruit stand, and I was disappointed when it all just sat there. I recently discovered that if a restaurant says drive through, they would actually prefer you drive past. And after that incident, I got a ticket. It said parking fine. I thought it meant I was doing a fine job of parking. But it's a serious problem, and I think life should be more literal. It would be easier for everybody. Literally, that's what I think. I heard about the stock market crash. I'm still trying to figure out how so many people lost their life savings on a car accident at a slaughterhouse. Man. But this became a serious problem when I finally got my shit together and figured out what ice fishing was. My buddy and I are sitting there in the ice fishing hut, staring down this little 4-inch hole we had drilled after spending $150 on equipment, $100 on gas to go out and freeze our asses out there for 6 hours to catch a fish we would have bought for $8 at Safeway. But while we're sitting there in the ice fishing hut, my buddy started talking to me about these salmon ladders. Have you ever heard of a salmon ladder? I had not heard of a salmon ladder, but my literal brain kicked in immediately, and I imagined a ladder made out of salmon. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. And I thought, well, maybe it's a ladder for a salmon. But a salmon doesn't need a ladder. A salmon doesn't have Christmas lights to hang or ceiling fans to dust off. It's a fish. It lives in the fucking ocean, right? And he says, no, Lucas, you're an idiot. It's not a ladder for salmon. It's a series of pools around a hydroelectric dam that allow the fish to get upstream and spawn. I thought there's got to be a better way to describe that. Like a series of pools around a hydroelectric dam that'll let the fish get upstream to spawn. But anyway, a couple weeks after that, I'm driving along in my truck listening to CBC like you do. And a radio program came on and they were talking about salmon ladders. And I thought to myself, I know what that is and it's not what it sounds like. I felt very smart for one of the first times in my life. But they were talking about how fish were being injured as they climbed these salmon ladders. I'm not surprised. Ladders are extremely dangerous. Highest rate of workplace accidents in the country, man. But they had to do something about these salmon injuries, and they were going to replace the salmon ladders with fish cannons. My literal brain kicked in again, and I had a mental image very similar to the one you just had. A cannon with a fish flying out the end of it. I thought there is no way that that's what it sounds like. So I got on Google, did a little bit of research. It turns out that that is exactly what it sounds like. It's a cannon with a fish flying out the end of it. It's insane. They actually shoot the fish up over the dam. Yeah. But think about this. This means that at some point there was a meeting of environmentalists. There was lots of crystals being worn, incense being burned, patchouli oil in the air, kids with beards. And somebody said we have to do something about these salmon ladder injuries. Brainstorming was done, ideas were put forward, and by the end of the meeting, nobody had a satisfactory solution. That was until Dave in the back corner put up his hand and said, I know what we're going to do. We're going to shoot them out of a cannon. Now, I don't know about you guys, but when I think of preventing injuries, cannons are very rarely involved, okay? But then I got thinking about it from the perspective of the fish. Okay? Because you know what spawning is for a fish, right? This fish is going to go and get laid. This fish is cruising up. That's why they work so hard to get upriver. You remember the first time you got laid, don't you? You worked pretty fucking hard for it. That's why these fish go up the river so hard. They're swimming, and this fish is going, I'm going to get laid, I'm going to get laid, I'm going to get laid. It's all excited. And then it's remembering the directions its dad gave it. It's like, you got to go up the river. You're going to hit a concrete wall. There's going to be a series of pools around the side of the concrete wall that you got to jump up, man. And the fish is swimming. He's remembering, I'm going to hit a concrete wall. I'm going to hit a concrete. And then all of a sudden, he's sucked into darkness, and he's spinning around, and he's all disoriented. And then, boom, he gets shot out of a cannon. It adds way more excitement to an already extremely exciting day in that salmon's life. Anyway, you guys have been fantastic. Thank you so much for coming out, supporting Kids Cancer Care, Nanbert Manor, and everybody. Welcome back your host, Mr. MC Ironfoot. Oh, all right, everybody, make some noise for Lucas Steeves.